Warriors, what a day we have going here on Friday with the NFP. In my prior streams, I was talking about I was looking for a high in the yen coming into today and a strong number, looking for a strong number. Definitely we got one. All right, I'm just going to go to the charts, everybody. All right, so here we are. Um, Dollar, I said look for a rally back towards 110. I'm sorry I was off a little bit. We only got to 109.96, so you should have a piece on this dollar. We're probing it and we're looking for the distribution. There still could be some more left on the downside in euro, but I'm looking for this because I think there might be a peak in rates. What's interesting is with what's happening in rates, we have the yen not really participating all week. So the yen definitely put in a negative candle after making new highs with glaring divergence. So even though yields are higher, there's a 10-year up in about 5 bips. It's possible this could be it for at least a correction. Same in bonds, it's starting to spike here. So looking for similar action to start occurring in the dollar. The gold, something else I talked about. There's your breakout in gold. Silver not quite as strong. Obviously, this gold silver ratio may want to make another move to the upside. We'll see. But definitely the story of the day is risk off. And I've been showing this chart in the S&Ps for a while. We have the breakdown today. They're trying to recover, and it may recover, down the road, but this is not a good sign. I know a lot of the bears aren't short yet. They were still looking for higher numbers to get short. 6,400, maybe that's coming in down the road, but I still think we have to work lower. If you look at the weekly chart here on S&Ps, we have a breakdown and different measured moves. Here's your daily. So that's a breakdown. So here's a very important line in the sand, this 5,700 level. If you look left, you'll see how many times it came into play. I talked about this with Mike yesterday on our live stream. Look at this, 57. So this is going to be a place where the market has to put up a stand between here and the 200-day. Otherwise, if we take out this 200-day, I think that we're going to revisit the August lows. And that'll be interesting because I think there could be a rally. Rates soften up. The dollar begins to soften up. We'll see if that's enough to lift equities. I've been talking about the Mag 7. A lot of them have caved big time today. If you look at things like, let's take a look at, here's Amazon, ugly, right? Here's Apple, really, we're back to the breakout area. So this would negate the breakout in Apple. Meta's the only thing holding today. Goog is under pressure. Little double top here. Netflix, for some reason, is really getting massacred, down 3.5%. I've been talking about how ugly Microsoft has looked for a while. We're right at some important support here, but I think that we're going to attack this low, and take it out. NVIDIA, gosh, what an ugly week. You want to see an ugly weekly chart? Here you go. So here's NVIDIA. And this was after the pump and dump, after the conference where the NVIDIA CEO spoke. That's not such a great looking candle for a double top. And you can see it's holding support here. This was the old neckline that I thought we'd have a breakdown here, and they had one more jiggle to the upside. What's interesting is that even the banks are giving it up. Okay, we're still a little higher on the week, but Bank of America, the financials have been the strength in the market. And look at what's happening to B of A. Okay, it's trying to hold this 50-day moving average, but the XLF is right at major support. So here's your strongest group, the financials. When tech was getting hammered, people talked about the fact that the financials were a place to hide. Well, now they've taken away another hiding place. So, we have some interesting action. If you waited till January to sell, you never got the highs. I think there's more downside left in this market. But the big play besides the S&Ps is to be looking for a top in the dollar, looking for some type of peak in yields now that we've had this blowout number. Perhaps we could get a pullback, and the yen is really flashing negative signals. I don't care if they rally it to new highs now. You have a great reference here in yen. So, I mean, the yen has really, look at this, new highs with an RSI reading of 60. Usually I'm happy with 70. So, US dollar yen's in trouble. Okay, so when you look at it from a longer term perspective, this is still a failing rally in the end. Okay, we never took out these highs right here. Okay, we caught this rally. This one went further than I thought it would. And now look at this daily. That's a pretty ugly candle. Someone tweeted me and said, Dale, I don't want to wait till Friday for the NFP to do it. I said, well, I didn't answer that because, he has his right, and you do too, to maybe have a partial on before a big number. But if you waited for the number, you got new highs for the move, right? And you were able to take advantage of the divergences, even very short term, like a 2 hour. So we got up to a high 58.90. This very well could be it, and we could have another pretty big wave to the downside. Let's look at the weeklies. So also, people forget that haven't been in the markets for a long time. The yen is also potentially a safe haven currency. So it's not just a dollar, it could be the yen too. So we'll see. There may be, other opportunities to try it next week. But keep an eye on euro. That's a pretty ugly week, so I know that we're going to have a chance lower. Remember, I talked about there is a possibility for 101. That's another 100 lower. It paid to be patient to wait to buy the Aussie. I was talking about here that the 1.618, 60.56, that's still another 100 lower. So, you know, we're getting close in everything. But the yen is the cleanest signal. Canada unable to make a new high yet either. That's a weekly. It's closing near the highs of the week. There could be opportunities in Canada because they never took out the stops up here. This looks like a double top, so there's a ton of stops up here at 144.67. So maybe we get one more push up in Canada next week to clean out the bears and take short positions. So that's a wrap. Big week. Sometimes you could have a great month in a day, and definitely even the S&Ps are starting to smell it. Maybe they're going to negate the breakdown. I don't think so. Probably just short covering. Who's going to want to go home long this over a weekend? So that's what I see here. I hope that besides the calls that I'm making, that you're learning the reasons why. Three drive formation. That's why I said wait for the dollar, that we could still take out this high to give us a three. And so far, look, the 4 hour divergence. Okay. Not even close to the last high we had a couple weeks ago. Let's look at the daily because that's also on the verge blowing out divergence, and they're going to need to turn it lower soon. But as you can see, look at the difference between the last couple highs here. This high's over 80. Now we're still under 70. No, this one was over 70. We're not at 70 yet. And you can see how we're starting to get a little bit of a pullback here. So that's my look going into the weekend. I think that you have to still be selling into dollar strength. I think there's more left on the downside in equities. That 5,700 level is pretty important. It's another 136 handles from here. And I hope that I've helped you. God, you have to go back and watch the interview with Steve and I that I did on Monday, or check out the interview I did with Maggie Lake this week. It's in my Twitter stream at Forex Stop Hunter, and all of this was talked about Monday. So you had Friday's newspaper Monday. Remember, most of all, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. See you Monday. And I think that we're entering the zone where I looked for 109 from par and 104, and Dixie got there. So we're starting to get some signs that it could be ending here. And I'm going to be on it and going to hopefully guide you guys to do it as well. Hope you were short. I told Mike I think it was Tuesday, loads up on S&P SPX puts. Take a look at some of these things, and I don't think it's over, but you could start with SQQQ, which is a triple bearish. We're over some moving averages on the daily. And if you look at the 4 hour, it's broken out over these highs. You could have a line in the sand at 31, but this is where we were early in the week. Same with the SPXS that I own calls on that too, trying to break out over 650. So I'm not going to call this S&P recovery that we have here late, midday on Friday, the bottom. There's more left. People are going to read the newspapers this week. And I hope, remember what my theme is this year. We're going to thrive in 25 and have a good decade this year. Off to a good start. Good hunting, everybody. Have a great weekend. Do your work over the weekend and be ready to execute